Good day, everybody. This is Orekoya Olusegun, Physics Mathematics Fundamental on YouTube. We are taking a topic under mathematics, and that topic is on functions and inverse of a function. Now, let's start. When we talk about a function, let's say we have a variable x like this, then we input this variable s into, let's say, a system or a machine, in such a way that this system perform this operation f on this input. So, and after the operation there is an output y. This input that I have here has names. One of the names is called pre-image. Pre-image means before image. Pre-image, it means before image. And what is the output that we have here is called image. So pre-image for image. This pre-image can also be called domain of this function, and this image is called codomain. This image can also be called range. So function f can be defined as a mathematical expression that takes in an input or a variable x in such a way that an output called image is produced. So a function is a mathematical expression that takes in input to produce a unique output. So function f is a mathematics expression that takes in variable x called pre-image to produce output variable y called image. So like I said, this pre-image can also be called domain or input. So that's the definition of a function. Now we want to do some exercise on function. I give this one illustration so that you can see what is happening. This variable x can take any value, and when that value enter this system will perform a process of function f so that y will be produced. Like for instance, if I say f of x is equal to x squared plus 1, that means the function here says that x must square itself, then you add 1 to it. I can equally have g of x is equal to 2x plus 3. That means the function that g is performing on this input is that you multiply this input by 2, you add 3. Or let me say subtract 3. Let me use subtraction. Since I've used addition here, let me use subtraction. Now, another thing I want us to take note of, I will say function and inverse of a function. We can also talk about a composite function. Composite function. What this one is talking about is that, let me say I have an input x, and then the function f is performed on x to produce a y, and if this y now serves as another input to produce z, and the function is g, then we say f of g produce a z, and we know that f of g produce g of y produce z. F of x produce y. If the question say find g of f of x, what this expression we have here is called composite function. You can see relationship. This particular f perform operation on x to produce this variable y, and this function g perform on this variable y as its own input to produce a variable z. So here y is an output or image of x, whereas z is an output or image of y. So when we have this relationship, we have what is called composite function. So for instance now, if the question say find g of x, given this expression that we have here, what we are going to do in that case is this. Since our f of x is x squared plus 1, so we just write g, we substitute f of x, which is x squared plus 1, x squared plus 1. And concerning the interpretation of the function g says whatever that is inside here, multiply that thing by 2, subtract 3. So what is inside here is this now. So that we are going to multiply it by 2. Then we subtract 3. Then when we open this bracket now, we have 2x squared plus 2 minus 3. And then 2x squared plus 2 minus 3 will give us minus 1. Therefore, g of f of x give us 2x squared minus 1. That's case 1. Case 2, let's call this one question 1. Question 2 that we have here, f of g of x. We can have it like this, written it like this, f of g of x. Let's say you are asked to find this composite function. What we are going to do is this. We substitute the g of x here, and our g of x has been interpreted to be 2x minus 3. So you write f, then you put gx, which is 2x minus 3 here. So we have 2x minus 3. So what this one is saying is that whatever that is inside here, square it, subtract 1. Now, when x is there, we square it, then we add 1. Now, instead of x now, we are having 2x minus 3. So what we are going to do is to square whatever that is there, then add 1. So this one become 2x minus 3 square, then we say plus 1. So when we open this bracket, this means 2x bracket 3 times 2x bracket minus 3. 2x minus 3 bracket 2x minus 3. That's meaning of 2x minus 3 square. Then we say plus 1. Now, when we open this bracket, we use this to multiply everything. That is 2x to multiply the second bracket, 2x minus 3. Then we use this one to multiply the second bracket, minus 3 bracket 2x minus 3. Then plus this one here. So when we open the bracket, 2x times 2x will give us 4x squared. 2x times minus 3 will give us minus 6x. Minus 3 times 2x will give us minus 6x. Minus times minus give us plus. 3 times 3 give us 9, then plus 1. So these two, they are like terms. Minus 6x minus 6x is minus 12x. So we have 4x squared minus 12x, then plus 9 plus 1 give us plus 10. So this expression that we have here is g of x. So that is the idea of a problem under composite function. Now, we now move down to this particular topic that we have here, which is functions and the inverse of a function. You are given this function. The question say find f of x plus 3 and g of x plus 3. This is case 1 and case 2. We have been given what f of x is doing here, and we are asked to find f of x plus 3. How do we do that? What we are going to do concerning question number 1, the solution is like this. Let's start with this question. We should find f of x plus 3. According to the definition of the function f, whatever that is here, we should square it and we add 1. What is here now is x plus 3, so we are going to square it. Then we add 1 to that. So the meaning of this one, when we expand it, we have it as x squared plus 6x plus 9, then plus 1. So this one gives us x squared plus 6x plus 10. That is the meaning of this. And if the question says we should find g of x plus 3, number 2, g of x plus 3. According to the definition of the function g, it says that anything that is here, we should multiply it by 2, then subtract 3. What is here now is x plus 3, so we multiply it by 2, then we subtract 3. So this gives us a 2 times x, we open the bracket, 2x plus 6 minus 3. 2x plus 6 minus 3 will give us 3. That is the meaning of g of x plus 3. Please, I will give us an assignment because this can be extended to other higher polynomial. So an assignment for you is this: you are given f of x is equal to 4x raised to power 5 minus 2x plus 7. The question says find f of 1 over 2, and then that's case 1. Case 2 says find, if you are given f of x is equal to x cubed minus 7x squared plus 3x plus 6. Find f of 2x plus 1. The workings of this one, let me give you a clue. It says that whatever that is here, take it to power of 5. Whatever you have gotten, multiply by 4. Then you subtract whatever that is here, multiply it by 2. Then you add 7. So what we have here is half. So when you put half raised to power 5, multiply your answer by 4. Minus 2 times this half again, then plus 7. We are going to get our answer. The same thing with this now. Instead of x, we are having 2x plus 1. So that means 2x plus 1 is replacing this x. So wherever you get x, we multiply it, we replace it with 2x plus 1 here. So this will be 4 brackets 2x plus 1 raised to power 5 minus 2 times 2x plus 1, then plus 7. So I want you to try your hand on that. Now, we want to do the inverse of a function. Look at this situation. The question says find the inverse of f of x. We can solve it this way. When we are dealing with inverse, what this one is talking about inverse is this: in case of an inverse function, our image will become the inputs instead of x. Then our output will now be x in this case. So instead of having function f, we have it as f raised to power minus 1. This is an inverse function. This is still the system. So it's saying that instead of this image, now in this case of inverse function, our image now is performing input, while our pre-image is now becoming the output. That's the idea of inverse function, and this is the process of finding the inverse function. Look at this scenario. We are to find the inverse function of this is case 1 and this is case 2. We are to find the inverse function of x. That's what we want to find. How do we do it? This is how we are going to do it. You are from this f of x, which is x squared plus 1. Let this image f of x, let it be y. So in this case now, we make our x the subject of formula. So we carry this plus 1 to here. This one becomes y minus 1 is equal to x squared. To find x, you find the inverse of this power, which is half. So it means y raised to power minus 1, y minus 1, sorry, y minus 1, then raised to power the inverse of this power, so that we can have x on just one side of the equation. So this one will become x raised to power 2 times its own inverse. 2 cancel 2, so we are left with x. In the law of indices, power of half means square root, so we normally take it as plus or minus square root of y minus 1. So in this case now, since our x is the subject of formula, it is the inverse function. So we write it as inverse function. Then we replace this y that is here with x. So we write it as plus or minus square root of x minus 1. That's the idea of finding the inverse function. If the question says find the inverse function of g of x, find inverse function of g of x. So the same process we are going to undertake. So what we are going to do in this case is this. The meaning of inverse function of g of x means find g of x That is the meaning of inverse function. So that's what we want to find. Since our g of x solution, since our g of x has been given to be 2x minus 3, let g of x, let it be y, is equal to 2x minus 3. So we make x or the formula. Carrying this minus 3 to that side become plus 3. So we have y plus 3 is equal to 2x. Now we make x or the formula by dividing both sides by 2. So this one become y plus 3 divided by 2 is equal to x. This x you are seeing here, which is the subject of the formula, is the inverse function of x, because we have made this subject of the formula. So you replace this y with x. So you have x plus 3 divided by 2. So what I have here is the inverse function. Sorry, we are talking about inverse function of g. So it's going to be g of inverse function of g of x. So given this particular function, its inverse is x plus 3 divided by 2. I believe that you must have learned one or two things concerning the idea of inverse function, composite function, and the function itself. So this topic, I will change it to function composite. Function composite. Composite and inverse function. That's everything I've just done now. So before we go, I will give you an assignment here. You are given this and this particular function. Find the inverse using the same process that we did here. So this one too, find the inverse. That's your assignment using the same process that we have here. Please do not forget to like, share my video, make your comments. The essence of sharing the video is to be able to get to the intended audience. Even if this video is not relevant to you, you can help me to share it. Somebody will benefit from it, especially 100 level students in the higher institution, the final year students in secondary school, and some other students, maybe SS students, SS1 students, SS2 students, SS3 students. They can learn one or two things from this. Thank you so much. I am your tutor, Orekoya Olusegun, Physics Mathematics Fundamental on YouTube. Have a nice day. Bye.